Are you thinking of selling your rental? Well, do not accidentally sabotage it before you list. If you are planning ahead and you're thinking of selling your rental properties anywhere from 4 to 5 years from now, or are thinking of buying investment properties in order to sell them down the road, listen up. So this video is going to be for you because we're going to be diving right into about how to prepare and sell your tenanted occupied properties. If you don't know me yet, and if you are into real estate homesteading mindset and building wealth, you are in the right place. So hit subscribe and let's connect. I'm a realtor here in British Columbia, so I will only speak to British Columbia real estate sales and rental regulations. So for your area, it'll be important to do your own due diligence on learning about the Rental Act there and maybe speaking to a professional realtor that has experience in selling tenanted properties. I've been a realtor for almost 16 years now. I've been a landlord and an investor for many, many years as well. So I hope that this is valuable and you can walk away buying investment properties and getting your properties ready to sell with confidence. So finding the right tenant is so important. I have a whole video on that. So do check it out. I will link it right here. I have a whole video about finding the right tenant because this is going to be the glue for absolutely everything that we do moving forward. So in a nutshell, find the right tenant. Do not get yourself a nightmare tenant. That will absolutely cost you time and money and headaches that no one wants. I know a lot of the times we want to be really accommodating as a landlord. We want to maybe offer really low rent. Maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a family member. Don't do that. If you're planning on selling, do not offer under market rent. That will bite you in the butt. I mean, don't overcharge, but I'm talking about market rent. So be fair to your tenant, be fair to you as a landlord as well, because it can technically be very important to your purchaser, assuming you want to sell. Get everything in writing, black and white. This day and age, there is absolutely no reason for us not to have everything in writing. There's access to digital signatures. I mean, there's just no reason not to have a complete agreement in writing, black and white with your tenant. How long is the lease for? Is it month to month? Is it a year lease? Does it move to month after that? How much is the damage deposit? Is there a pet damage deposit? How much is that? And what is the rent? What does it include? Who's paying the utilities? Who's doing the maintenance? Have all of those things in writing. I would suggest to make sure that you have it in writing that tenants do not smoke in the house. That's going to affect the sale because again, we're planning on selling the home in the future. And also pets. I mean, there's some incredible pet owners. There's some incredible pets, but if you are planning on selling, might be a good idea not to allow pets just in case. Again, you have to really protect your investment at this point. And don't mislead the tenant. If you are planning on selling 2, 3, 4 years from now, make sure the tenant knows so they can plan accordingly. It's not fair to the tenant that they're going to be moving all the furniture in and you're going to be selling it from underneath them, at least with your intention. It is really important that it's all on the table and open communication. And number 2, make sure you understand the rental regulations for your specific area. I would jump on the website, the Tenancy Act website, and learn everything that you can about being a landlord, selling a tenanted property, and just really understanding the tenant rights and yours as the landlord. And I'm sure this is different in each area, but in British Columbia, our rules really favor the tenants. So it is important to know that if the purchaser is going to purchase your property, how much notice do you have to give the tenant? What kind of deposit do you have to return? Here, it's with interest. Under what situation can you evict a tenant? Because again, in British Columbia, we can't just evict them because we choose to list the property or because we choose to have another tenant in there. We're just not able to. So the tenants have a lot of rights to stay there. And it is important as a landlord and as a seller to understand those rules and regulations. And how often can you raise the rent? So again, we want to be at market value, but when can we raise the rent? Speaking to British Columbia, we're not able to raise the rent just willy-nilly because our expenses have gone up, because the interest rates have gone up. So we have to make sure that we raise the rent only once a year and the allowable amount. The tenants in British Columbia are very protected, and as they should. I think there was a lot of bad landlords in the past, and the rules kind of evolved into a place to really protect the tenants. And it's good and bad, depending on the situation, of course. However, we are where we are. So if you are planning on selling your place, it is important to understand that the purchaser, if they want to rent it out, they can't just kick out the tenant and move another tenant in. They just can't. Unless they want to move into the property, we have to give them proper notice, and then they'll be able to move into the property, of course, as the owner. Number 3, knowledge. And I'm hoping your realtor would be able to help you with that, assuming they have a lot of knowledge in selling rental properties. Again, I'm only speaking to what happens in British Columbia. I'm assuming other areas would be somewhat similar. Again, we're going to cover this again. You cannot ask your tenant to leave just because you are listing the property and you want it listed as vacant. That is not a possibility here in British Columbia. You have to give the tenant a minimum of 24 hours notice to do any showings. And remember, the tenant doesn't have the same invested interest as you do in selling that property. They don't have the same invested interest for you to get the maximum amount of money out of that property. So for showings, the property might not be as clean, not as tidy. The lights are not going to be on. The curtains are not going to be up. It's just not going to smell as nice, possibly. And it's understandable. They don't have the same invested interest in you selling the property. It might be actually the opposite. They might not want you to sell the property because they want to keep residing there. Photos. So listing photos might be a challenge, not because the place might be messy or, well, might be the case, but it also, the tenant might not want publicly photos of their personal belongings online. So photos might be a challenge when you are listing a property and you're trying to showcase, and of course, the online being your 24-hour open house when you're trying to sell it, you want as many photos as possible, but the place might not be show ready. It might not be as clean, as beautiful as we would like to showcase it in our listing photos. And of course, the tenant might not want the inside photos to be listed publicly, and that is their right. The realtor you hire, I think, is so important because they have to be able to work with the tenant. They kind of have to massage the situation. The tenant's not going to be happy to have strangers coming through their home. That's where they live. They have no invested interest in selling, of course. So you are intruding on their space by bringing people in to sell the place. It's just not a happy environment for anybody. So what I do as a realtor, I like to meet the tenant. I bring them a little gifty. I explain their rights as a tenant. I explain that they're not going to get kicked out because we potentially have a buyer for the place. That buyer might need a tenant. That buyer might want to keep them as a tenant. So I explain to them that they have rights for showings, that they have a minimum of 24-hour notice, that they have certain rights as a tenant, so they feel at ease and they don't feel like I am their enemy in a way because I'm selling the house from underneath them. So it is important to work in conjunction with your tenant and be good to each other. I put myself in their shoes and it sucks. Like I mentioned, you have strangers coming through your home. And they're going to uproot you potentially because you might have to move again. It's hard on tenants. So understanding that they are going through a hard time with this is going to be key. Oh, and strata properties. Perhaps you're renting and you've been grandfathered into the rental, for example. And in British Columbia, it's different now because rentals are allowed in almost all stratas. But let's say you have been renting since day one and rules have changed within. So you have been grandfathered to rent your place. Now, when you sell that place, can that buyer continue with your grandfathered situation to be able to rent that place? Or are there rental restrictions? So when that buyer purchases it and they're no longer able to rent it. And number 4, these are the challenges that we're faced here in British Columbia. And I know I touched on that. I just kind of want to lump it in here under challenges to make it like super clear. So tenants get 3 full months notice to vacate a property. And this is under the condition that the purchaser is moving into the property, not a tenant. So if the purchaser wants to get another tenant in, they can't. They can't just evict the tenant, which nobody can. But if the purchaser is wanting to move into the property, we have to give, as the landlord, that tenant 3 full months notice. So if the buyer wants to move in right away, maybe they've sold something, that does cause challenges because to wait 3 full months to move into a place might be a little too long for the purchaser, and they might not want to do that. So they might not look at already rented properties that have a tenant in there if they're the ones that want to move in and they need a little bit of faster possession. And the dates will be a lot tougher to line up for that purchaser because, again, the tenant's going to move at the end of the month. So they won't be able to sneak in at the middle of the month. And it's just a little bit tougher when you have this line of the purchaser sold something, or their rental is up, or whatever it might be, or their job situation is where they have to be in their new place at a certain time. So lining up dates is a little bit more challenging, of course, as well. The place might not look as good as if it was owner occupied. And that's, again, understandable. The tenant doesn't have an vested interest to do touch-ups on paint. Maybe they banged up the walls, moving their furniture, regular wear and tear. Maybe the floor is a little bit scratched up. So unfortunately, that's just the reality of it, where the place might not look as nice as expected on move out as you've seen it 3-4 months ago, because that's when you saw the property when it was all tenanted and maybe looked a little bit better. It might not be as clean as we would like it. We do hope that the landlords do maybe send a cleaner in there after the tenant is out. But again, clean is a very relative term, and everybody's definition of clean is different. So that is something to be prepared that a buyer might not be super happy with the condition of the property and the cleanliness of it. Oh, the risks of the tenant not moving out. In 16 years, I have not had this situation. However, can it happen? Absolutely. If the tenant doesn't want to leave and it goes to court, that could take months and months and months. A lot of lost rental income. It could be a huge mess. And again, I have not had that situation happen in my 16 years of selling all sorts of properties, including rental properties, but it is important, something to consider. And I find buyers have that fear as well. I've had a lot of those questions. So they do have that, again, that long waiting period to move in. Then the place is not going to be clean. Then the place might be a little damaged. Then, of course, if the tenant isn't that great, you risk the fact that they might not move out. They might dig their heels in and there might be issues there. So again, sure, it doesn't happen as often, but it is risks that we need to be aware of. So having a good tenant is even more important than ever before. Number 5, documentation and preparing to offer these documents up to your realtor and to potential buyers. So we want to have the rental agreement, and this goes through, of course, how much is the rent? When was it last raised? What is the damage deposit, pet deposit, condition report? Now, if that renter is having that new landlord, which is that new purchaser, that condition report's going to be massively important if they're going to get their damage deposit back or not when they choose to leave, if they're with that new person, because that new person hasn't seen the property previously. So anyways, this is really, really important to have everything black and white written down, be prepared, have the rental agreements, checking strata bylaws, any amendments, any changes to that. Is it grandfathered if it needs to be? Updated tenant contact information. Has there been any changes as well? And number 6, and I know I touched on this, but hiring the right realtor is somebody that's going to be sensitive to the tenant situation, somebody that will work well with them, because it is a partnership. If they are going to be really difficult for showings, that's going to affect your sale. If the tenant's going to be feeling like this home is being taken from underneath them and they feel scared and they have to move, and it's not an enjoyable thing. So having the right realtor with kid gloves that's going to take care of that tenant, and you as well as the seller, of course, communication and having the right realtor is going to be key. Number 7, the marketing angle. Marketing is a huge part of what we do as realtors. So this is something to really keep in mind, because we don't just, negotiate offers. Marketing is a massive part of being a realtor and being able to market that property in a proper way. So if you have a tenant in place, your realtor would want to market it as a turnkey, great tenant. This is what they're paying for rent, and an investment property kind of marketing. And what's really cool, we can also frame these properties that the buyer can have very flexible possession, but move in at a later time. So of course, because we have to give proper notice. So they could have possession, take on the tenant, give them proper notice when they're ready to move in. So this is an amazing opportunity for that purchaser to have a little bit of an investment property, have that mortgage taken care of while that tenant is in there until they're ready to move in. So great way to frame that marketing and getting the right people through the door. And for someone that's looking for quicker possession, it's going to be a little bit more challenging. So again, super important to have honest, transparent marketing, because if somebody wants quick possession, they're not going to be able to, because with tenant needs proper notice. But this might be an amazing opportunity if they're trying to sell something down the road. So in a nutshell, the marketing is going to be focused to investors that the tenant is amazing and paying market rent, because of course the investor would want to make sure that they get good market rent, so it'll cover most of their expenses at least, and mortgage and interest and so forth. And then another opportunity is to frame it to those people that want to move into the place but need that flexibility and maybe longer completion date, so they can solidify their purchase and then just wait until they maybe sell something, or wait till they're ready to move in. So those two ways are probably the best way to frame something like this: being honest, being transparent, and just targeting the right type of buyer. Okay, and number 8, I'm going to jump into the investor. So let's say the investor is looking at purchasing this home. They're going to be looking at numbers. Those things are going to be super important to them. So what is the rental? So if you're undercharging, that's going to be a problem for the investor, because of course now you're trying to make money on the rental, but this investor needs to make sure that the expenses are going to be covered by that rental. So if that renter has been in there for 5 years and you haven't raised the rent because it's fine for you, for your mortgage, because it's lower, but now that investor is buying it at a higher price. So if that investor is buying it at this price, they have to make sure that that makes sense for them, that it will cover their mortgage or most of it. And they can't kick out the tenant to get market rent. So it's really hard for investors. So I think these types of properties, they discourage investors actually, where you would think that they would encourage them. So again, keeping rent at market value is going to be absolutely paramount. So the potential buyers find this appealing enough and they'll want to keep the tenant, and they don't have to walk away from this property because it doesn't make financial sense. So if you want to have this particular property as an owner-occupied property, and let's say you or your immediate family, this is immediate family, up and down, so mom or kids, no cousins, so immediate family. So if your immediate family is moving into this property, or you as the owner are going to be moving into this property, you need to plan ahead, because you need to give, in British Columbia, 4 months notice to the tenant. 4 months. That's a long time, but they need 4 proper months, full months notice to vacate that property. They might move out sooner if they find a rental, but they have that time. So, and then only then you move into the property. Let's say you want to fix it up, make it look a little bit nicer, do the touch-ups, do that. That's going to take some time as well. So you want to plan really, really ahead if you want to sell that property and having the renovations, sprucing it up as an owner-occupied property, or if you want to have your immediate family in there. But that will make the sale a little bit easier because we can have those dates more flexible. So that depends on your kind of situation and how you're able to manage it. But planning ahead is going to be really important in this situation. So when we moved from the coast, we rented our place there to an incredible, incredible tenant, which we were so very fortunate. We weren't intending to sell the property, so we actually didn't raise the rent, but they were so good. They fixed up whatever needed to be fixed up. They were very on top of everything. They maintained the home. They took care of it. So for us, it was worth not raising the rent for 5 years. The rent was reasonable, and it covered our finances. It covered our mortgage. Thank goodness for that. But if we were going to sell, that rent wouldn't be enough for the purchaser. So we didn't intend on selling that property from underneath them. We love them so much. We were just so happy that they were there and loved the home as much as we did. But when they decided to buy something, which I love when people have the opportunity to purchase a property, and they went out, they bought a property, they gave us proper 1 month notice. Only then we decided to sell it while it was vacant. So we staged it and cleaned it up and everything, and we hired them most amazing realtor. She took care of everything, which was great because we of course are not there. And that was really important as well. But selling a vacant property was definitely easier than selling a tenanted occupied property. I hope this helps with you planning your next investment and building wealth through investment. I think that is such a powerful way to do it through real estate. I love investing in real estate. I love having tenants in place. And of course, do watch the video on finding the right tenant. That's going to be key. I'm going to make sure I link it here. I've been a realtor for a long time. I've been a landlord, but I'm not a property manager. So do make sure you check all your local regulations. Things are always changing and moving. So it's important to know your local rules and regulations for rentals and talk to your local realtor. Make sure that they know those rules as well to protect your investments and your assets. If you find this valuable, please do subscribe, comment. I'd love to hear from you. I love reading comments, so do comment below. Until next time.